It was a Tuesday morning in late June. I walked out the back door with my coffee and got 3 steps off the porch before I saw it, coiled in the shade under the bottom step. Copperhead, brown hourglass pattern across the back, triangle-shaped head, not moving at all, just sitting there between the step and the old flower pot my wife has kept in that spot for 30 years. My granddaughter was supposed to come out that same door in about 10 minutes to help me with the morning chores. I backed away slow, called the county, paid $450 for a man to come out and put it in a bag. The relief lasted about 5 days. Then I found another one, smaller, same species, same spot under that flower pot, and I understood then that I was not dealing with a snake. I was dealing with a situation where there is one copperhead, there is a population, and the question changes from how do I get this snake out to how do I keep them from wanting to come back. Before I go further, I want to give you the honest word on what does not work, because most of what folks spend money on falls in that category. Mothballs scattered around the yard are banned outdoors by federal law, and they do not work anyway. The National Pesticide Information Center says so plainly. Ultrasonic snake repellers, the little electronic devices from the hardware store, have no scientific evidence behind them, none. Most commercial snake repellent sprays and granules cannot show consistent research that they do anything at all. Illinois Extension and Utah State University Extension both put this on record. You are buying a $16 bottle of nothing and spreading it around your yard every spring. Here is the plain truth about why snakes come onto your property and why the old methods are the only ones that actually work. Snakes do not wander in by accident. They come because your yard gives them 3 things they need to survive: food, cover, and warmth. Remove those 3 things and they go somewhere else on their own. The food is rodents, mice, rats, voles, chipmunks. Snakes follow a rodent population the way I follow the smell of supper. No rodents, no snakes. The cover is hiding places. Tall grass, debris piles, wood stacked against the house, overgrown shrubs, gaps under the porch. Snakes need somewhere to hide from hawks and foxes. Without cover they are exposed. Without cover they leave. The warmth is basking spots. Concrete walkways, flat stones, metal shed walls, sun-warmed asphalt near the house. Snakes are cold-blooded. They need outside heat to function. Too much open exposure near the house, and they spend less time there. Every one of the 10 methods I am about to show you removes one of those 3 things. The science is plain. The methods are old. They work. If you are new here, welcome to the Homestead Grandpa. I put out a new video every week on doing things the right way, the old way, and the cheap way. Hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss a single one. Now, 10 methods, all of them honest. Number 1. Cut your grass below 3 inches at all times. Tall grass is a snake highway. It gives them cover from hawks above, cool ground temperature in the heat, and hunting territory for the insects and rodents they are after. A yard kept at 2.5 to 3 inches makes snakes feel exposed. Exposed snakes move on. The threshold every extension office agrees on is 3 inches maximum. Above 3 inches, especially in summer when grass grows fast, the yard becomes hospitable again within days. Cut weekly during the growing season, not every 2 weeks, and pay attention to the edges, along fence lines, around the garden beds, along the side of the shed. Those strips are the corridors snakes use to move from one part of the property to another without crossing open ground. A man who mows the main yard but leaves 12-inch grass along every fence line is not solving the problem. He is just pushing it to the edges. After I found the second copperhead, this was the first thing I changed. I started mowing a week earlier in the season and stopped leaving the fence strips for last. Number 2. Remove every pile of clutter and debris in the yard. Old lumber, stacked rocks, brush piles, fallen branches, leaves piled against the foundation, old equipment sitting in the side yard, the rusty barrel that has been back there for 8 years. Every one of those is snake harborage. They use those spots to nest, to hunt, and to reproduce. Multiple state extension offices document that clearing debris reduces snake activity by 70 to 90% within a single season, one season, because you removed the cover they came for. Walk your yard with a critical eye. Anything that has been sitting on the ground for more than 2 weeks is a potential snake hotel. Lumber piles go to the burn pile or up onto sawhorses off the ground. Old equipment gets moved or scrapped. Decorative rock piles near the house need to go or be checked carefully. Firewood is the one that surprises people. A cord of wood stacked against the house wall is one of the strongest snake invitations there is. Move firewood at least 20 feet from the house on a raised rack with the bottom row above the ground. Snakes cannot nest in a raised rack. They can absolutely nest in a ground-level pile against a warm wall. The rule on this place has always been simple. If it has been sitting on the ground for a month without being touched, it belongs somewhere else or nowhere at all. Number 3, seal every entry point into your buildings. Snakes can squeeze through a gap as small as a quarter inch. The National Pesticide Information Center specifically recommends sealing any gap larger than that on the home exterior. The spots most folks miss: the garage door bottom, install a heavy rubber threshold seal. Dryer vent exits, use a vent cover with a wildlife blocking flap. Foundation gaps where pipes or conduit come through the concrete. Door sweeps on any exterior door that has compressed or torn over time. Crawl space vents, replace with galvanized screen at quarter-inch mesh maximum. Window screens, patch any hole the moment you find it. The material most people do not know about is galvanized steel wool. Snakes physically cannot push through it the way they can through plastic mesh or fiberglass. Pack steel wool into a foundation gap, then spray expanding foam over it for weatherproofing. The foam alone is not enough. A motivated snake can push past hardened foam. The steel wool backed by foam is a seal they cannot get through. I went around the entire perimeter of the house and the outbuildings with a flashlight and a bag of steel wool. Found 6 gaps I did not know were there. Number 4, eliminate the rodent population. This is the most important method on the list. If you have a rodent problem, you have a snake problem coming. Snakes follow prey. The mouse in the garage, the vole in the garden, the chipmunk under the deck, those are what bring the snake onto your property in the first place. You cannot win the snake problem while the rodent problem is still there. They are the same problem. The rodent methods that work: snap traps placed along walls and baseboards. Rodents travel against vertical surfaces, not across open floors. Tamper-proof bait stations if you prefer. Removing food sources, secure trash. No birdseed on the ground. No outdoor pet food left overnight. No fallen fruit left to rot under the trees. Run the rodent control for 2 to 4 weeks and track what you are catching. When the rodent population drops, the snake population drops with it, usually within 1 season. The cause and effect is direct. Fix the food source and you fix the snake problem at the root. The rule on this place has always been simple. You do not solve a snake problem without solving the mouse problem first. Number 5, secure trash and never leave pet food outside. Open trash cans and outdoor pet food bowls are 2 of the strongest rodent attractants on most properties. A trash can a raccoon can open is a trash can a rat can get into. And wherever the rats are, the snakes are not far behind. Every outdoor trash can needs a tight-fitting lid. Use bungee cords if the lid does not seal on its own. Pet food bowls come inside within 30 minutes of feeding every single night, not most nights. 1 bowl left out overnight will bring rodents by morning. Compost needs to be enclosed in a sealed tumbler or a lidded wooden bin. Open compost is a rodent buffet. Birdseed is the one people argue with me about. You want to watch the birds, I understand that, but seed on the ground brings rodents, and rodents bring snakes. If you are committed to the feeder, use a catch tray that collects dropped seed before it hits the ground, and clean it weekly. Number 6, prune shrubs 12 inches off the ground and 24 inches from the house. Low-hanging shrub branches do 2 things you do not want. First, they provide ground-level cover exactly where snakes want to be. Second, they create a climbing bridge from the ground up to the side of your house. Snakes can climb, they can work their way up a rough-barked shrub, cross onto a wood-sided wall, and find a gap into an attic vent or a window frame. Pruning removes both the ground cover and the climbing path. Prune the bottom of every shrub at least 12 inches off the ground. Keep shrubs at least 24 inches away from the house walls. Gives you a clear inspection zone you can actually see into. Trim any tree branch that overhangs the roof or comes within 6 feet of the house wall. This is one Saturday's work on most properties. It changes the snake exposure of your house dramatically, and it costs nothing. Before I finish the list, I want to hear from you. Have you had a venomous snake encounter on your property? A copperhead under the steps? A rattler in the woodpile? A cottonmouth by the pond? Drop it in the comments and tell me what you did about it. I read every single one, and the answers you leave shape what I cover next. If you have not subscribed yet, do it now. Every video on this channel is built for people who want to handle what their family needs handled the right way the first time, without paying someone else to do it. Number 7. Move bird feeders 30 feet from the house. Bird feeders attract birds. Birds drop seed. Seed brings rodents. Rodents bring snakes. Sometimes the snake comes for the birds directly, particularly eggs and young. Move the feeder at least 30 feet from the house, 30 feet from sitting areas, grills, and children's play zones. Use a catch tray underneath to collect dropped seed. Clean it weekly. During peak snake season, late spring through early fall. If you are dealing with a serious problem, take the feeder down entirely until the situation is under control. I know people who solved a persistent snake near the house problem with no other change than moving the bird feeder from 12 feet to 35 feet from the back door. The snakes were coming for the mice that were coming for the seed. Move the seed, the mice move, the snakes follow. Number 8. Snake-proof fence with 1/4-inch hardware cloth for high priority zones. If there is one specific area you absolutely cannot have a snake, a children's play yard, a chicken coop, a garden, a patio where your family sits, a properly installed fence is the only barrier that genuinely keeps them out. The materials, 1/4-inch galvanized steel hardware cloth. Not plastic mesh, not chicken wire, the holes are too large. Galvanized steel mesh at 1/4-inch. Bury it 10 to 12 inches into the ground along the fence line. Snakes will dig under shallow installations. Extend at least 30 inches above ground. Angle the top edge outward at 30 degrees away from the protected zone. Snakes that try to climb fall back off. Seal every corner, every gate junction, every place the fence meets a building wall. Cost runs $3 to $5 per linear foot for the mesh. A 50 by 50 foot enclosure runs roughly $400 to $1,000 in materials. Compare that to $450 per emergency removal call, and the fence pays for itself after the second call you would have otherwise had to make. The rule on this place has always been simple. Use the fence where your family lives and moves, not around the whole property. The whole yard is handled by the 7 methods above. The fence is for the one spot where you cannot accept even one snake getting through. Number 9. Folk repellent recipes, honest scope. I want to be plain with you before I describe these, the same way I was plain at the start of this video. The research on folk repellent recipes is mixed. The Internet Center for Wildlife Damage Management, a major academic research source, states that several repellents have been promoted, but none have extensive research proving effectiveness in real-world applications. Illinois Extension says simply that repellents do not work. Folks who have used cayenne, garlic, sulfur, clove, and cinnamon around the yard will tell you they have seen results. I do not doubt them. These may help in combination with the habitat work. They will not work on their own if the rodent population and the cover problems have not been addressed. With that stated plainly, here is what people use. A cayenne and dish soap spray, 1 gallon of water, 2 tablespoons of cayenne powder boiled in, cooled, with a tablespoon of dish soap added. Spray a 12-inch band around the area you want to protect. Reapply after every rain. Or a dry mix of equal parts cayenne, garlic powder, and sulfur applied as a barrier band. Wear a dust mask. The mix is irritating to your lungs. If you have done the habitat work and want one more layer, these are cheap to try and cause no harm. If the habitat work has not been done, these are another bottle of nothing. The science is plain on this. Number 10, keep barn cats for natural rodent control. This is the one I believe in most, not because of a study, because I have watched it work on this place for 40 years. A pair of working barn cats on a property keeps the rodent population at near zero. No mice, no rats, no voles, no chipmunks. And when the rodents are gone, the snakes stop coming for them. This is the oldest farmstead method there is, and it is the one nobody can sell you in a bottle, which is also why it is the one that works best. 2 minimum. A single cat is less effective. Feed them lightly. A working cat still hunts on a full stomach because hunting is instinct, not hunger. Vaccinate them and spay or neuter. Shelter them with a small wooden box and straw bedding, nothing fancy. Adopt from a shelter or find a farmer giving away kittens. Socialize them to the property by 8 to 12 weeks old so they consider it their home range. Initial vet costs run $200 to $400 per cat. Annual food runs around $200 per year per cat. In return, near zero rodent damage, near zero snake encounters near the house. No pest control bills for the life of the cat. Most properties see them pay for themselves in the first year and keep paying for 10 to 15 years per cat. My grandfather always said a good barn cat is worth more than most things a man can buy. He spent 40 years proving it right. Before I close, the safety information you need plainly. Most snakes are not venomous. The ones that are fall into 4 families in North America: copperheads with brown hourglass bands and a triangle-shaped head, rattlesnakes, multiple species, all with a rattle on the tail, cottonmouths, dark-colored and found near water in the southeast, and coral snakes, banded red, yellow, and black, found in the southeast and Arizona. If you find a venomous snake on your property, do not try to handle it yourself. Snake bites send 7,000 to 8,000 Americans to the emergency room every year, and most of those bites happen when someone tries to kill or move the snake on their own. Call animal control or a professional wildlife removal service. The cost of removal is a fraction of an emergency room visit. The snakes you want on your property: king snakes actually prey on copperheads and rattlesnakes. Garter snakes eat slugs and small rodents. Black rat snakes are among the best rodent controllers in nature and are completely harmless. Green snakes eat insects. Learn to identify these. They are working for you. Here is everything in one place. Snakes come to your yard because it gives them food, cover, and warmth. Remove those 3 things and they go elsewhere on their own. Keep the grass below 3 inches. Clear every debris pile and move firewood 20 feet from the house. Seal every building entry point with steel wool and expanding foam. Eliminate the rodent population. This is the most important step on the list. Secure all trash and bring pet food inside at night. Prune shrubs 12 inches off the ground and 24 inches from the house. Move bird feeders 30 feet from living areas. Install 1/4-inch hardware cloth fencing around any zone where you cannot tolerate a single snake. Use a cayenne or garlic repellent as a supplemental layer if you want one, honest about its limits. And keep a pair of barn cats if your property allows it. The hardware store sells $16 bottles of repellent granules that the university extension offices say plainly do not work. There is no money in telling you that one weekend of yard cleanup would have solved the problem. So they keep selling the bottle every spring. The 10 methods above cost almost nothing beyond your time. The firewood pile against the house, the debris pile behind the shed, the grass along the fence line, the garage door with the gap at the bottom. You already knew about those things. Now you know why they matter and which to fix first. If this video helped you, share it with someone who has been dealing with the same problem and spending money on the wrong solutions. That is how this channel grows, and it means a great deal to me. Until next time, keep the gate latched, the ground fed, and take care of what is yours.